Hi guys, this time I'm reviewing Unholy Night by Seth Grahame-Smith. This is the author who brought us Pride and Prejudice and Zombies and Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. In this story we have a reimagining of the nativity story where the three wise men are actually three murderers and thieves who are running away from the Roman Empire and just stumble across the Holy Family. So if you are a devout Christian or really religious and can't stand the idea of messing with these Bible stories, this is not a good book for you. Or if you don't like any religion or anything kind of like that, this is also not a good story for you. This book has a lot of blood and murder and things that are not socially acceptable now, but because this happened 2,000 years ago during the Roman Empire, there are things like sexual relations with like 13-year-old girls because that's what they did back then. But there's a ton of blood and guts in this book. So if you're not into that stuff, also not a great book for you. But if you can stomach all of those things, this is quite the adventure story. This story starts off following Balthazar, who was otherwise known as the Antioch Ghost. He has gotten quite the reputation for himself as a thief and a murderer. His exploits are closely followed by the Roman Empire and several of the citizens. He's kind of a folk hero too. So the Roman Empire is desperate to kind of catch him and put an end to this. So on one of his exploits, he kind of reaches a bit too far and doesn't escape and ends up getting captured. He gets brought before the Judean king Herod. While he's waiting for sentencing, he hears a story about a prophecy and a Messiah who is coming to the Jewish people who will overthrow all the kings of the earth, which makes Herod very anxious. So Balthazar gets sentenced to death and he gets thrown in prison for the night so he can get executed in the morning. And while he's there, he runs across two other thieves who are also set for execution. And together they come up with a plan that involves them requesting religious guidance and having three rabbis brought to them. Balthazar manages to play a switcheroo, dress up as three rabbi, and escape from the prison. While he's on the run, he ends up in the town of Bethlehem, and there's this really bright light. Like, so bright that it makes it look like day, which is not a great thing when you're trying to escape over by, darkness. So they run into this one stable, try to hide out, and while they're there, they run across a carpenter, his wife, and their baby. These guys don't quite hit it off right away. We have this really religious Jewish family and this group of thieves who make peace for the night because they're both kind of wanted by the Roman Empire. The following morning, the thieves set off on their own way and are perfectly happy to be rid of this family until they hear a story about how the army is coming to Bethlehem to slaughter all the babies in the area. Balthazar reluctantly thinks maybe this isn't such a great thing and goes back. He ends up saving Mary, Joseph, and the baby Jesus, and they end up reluctantly fleeing the Roman Empire together, trying to escape to Egypt. So along the way, we have all kinds of these historical references to people like Herod and Pontius Pilate and the Emperor Caesar Augustus and all these characters who appear in the Bible, and we just get so much more backstory in this, and it is so well researched, and there's so much thought put into what the setting is like and how life was like in this time period that it just kind of blows my mind. It's such a great story. The characters are well thought out. Really getting to see this whole other side was so cool to figure out, like, how are they going to adapt this and what's going to happen. And I grew up with a nativity story, so like I know where the end part needs to be, but watching it all happen is so cool. And the way he deals with the religious aspects of it, where Balthazar is a non-believer, but you have Mary and Joseph who are so convinced that the story is real, and just how they play off each other. So I like the story, but I'm not a fan of all the gore and the guts and the murder and the things that like were okay in the Roman Empire that really just aren't now, really don't sit well with me. So All in all, I give this like a 3 stars. Not because it's not a great story, just because for me personally, it's not really up there. There is my review for Unholy Night by Seth Grahame-Smith. Check it out if you want to. Yep. Peace out. I love you guys and keep reading. Bye.